The unexpected arrival. The twin suns of Meridian 7 painted the horizon in shades of copper and gold as Dr. Alexander Chen made his final rounds through the biodome. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, checking moisture levels and nutrient distribution for the exotic plants under his care. 3 years of solitude had given him a rhythm he understood, a peaceful existence among his botanical specimens from across the galaxy. That peace shattered when his communication console erupted with an incoming transmission marked with diplomatic priority codes he'd never seen before. Dr. Chen, a regal voice filled his lab, accompanied by a holographic figure of breathtaking elegance. I am Empress Talia of the Andromeda Coalition, and I require your immediate assistance. Alex nearly dropped his data pad. The Empress, her features both alien and remarkably refined, gazed at him with urgent eyes. Your Majesty, I'm just a botanist, he stammered, surely there's been some mistake. No mistake, Doctor, she replied, her voice carrying the weight of desperation. I've studied your work on interspecies plant compatibility. Your research station is remote, secure, and you have the knowledge to help my daughters understand life beyond our world. A critical peace negotiation requires my attention for the next several weeks, but my daughters would be targets if they remained home. I need someone I can trust. Before Alex could process this, she continued, they're already en route. Please, protect them as you would your most precious specimens. The transmission ended, leaving him staring at the empty space where her image had been. 20 minutes later, a vessel unlike anything in the colonial databases descended through the atmosphere. Its hull shimmered like liquid starlight, refracting the sunset into ribbons of color that cascaded across his research station. The ship settled with barely a whisper on the landing pad. The airlock spiraled open with a musical tone. 2 figures emerged, and Alex forgot how to breathe. The first young woman stepped forward with unmistakable confidence. Her skin was a rich violet that seemed to capture and hold the dying light, making her appear to glow from within. Long hair the color of dark amber flowed past her shoulders, and when she smiled, it was like watching a star ignite. Dr. Chen, she called out, waving enthusiastically, I'm Princess Arya, this is going to be amazing. Behind her, a second figure descended more cautiously, where her sister radiated bold energy. This one moved with ethereal grace, her skin resembled polished pearl with the faintest luminescent shimmer, and her hair, cut short and practical, was the deep blue of midnight oceans. When their eyes met, Alex saw depths of intelligence that made his pulse quicken. I'm Princess Isabel, she said softly, offering a perfectly executed human handshake she'd clearly researched. Thank you for sheltering us, Dr. Chen. I've read all 17 of your published papers on xenobotanical synthesis. Please, call me Alex, he managed, still trying to process that 2 alien princesses were standing in his landing bay. And welcome to Meridian 7, though I have to admit, I'm not sure I'm qualified for royal guardianship. Arya laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a summer breeze. Mother doesn't make mistakes, Doctor. Besides, she glanced around the biodome with obvious delight. Anyone who can make gardens grow on a barren world can certainly handle 2 sisters. We promise to help with your research, Isabel added, her gentle voice somehow carrying complete sincerity, and to cause minimal disruption to your work. Arya grinned mischievously, I promise nothing of the sort. Life should have some disruption, don't you think? As the 3 of them walked toward the habitat module, the suns finally dipped below the horizon. Alex realized his carefully ordered world had just become infinitely more complicated, and surprisingly, he found himself looking forward to it. Learning to trust. The biodome's bioluminescent systems activated as evening descended, casting the interior in soft waves of blue and green light. Alex watched Arya spin in a slow circle, her violet skin reflecting the glow as she took in the terraced gardens that filled his research space. This is incredible, she breathed, moving toward a cluster of crystalline bloom flowers. They responded to her presence, their petals shifting through a rainbow of colors. On my world, we have gardens, but nothing like this. You've brought together specimens from how many planets? 15 different worlds, Alex replied, unable to keep the pride from his voice. Each section has its own microclimate. I'm trying to develop hybrid species that could survive in multiple environments. Isabel had gravitated toward his main research terminal, her fingers hovering just above the holographic displays showing genetic sequences and growth patterns. You're attempting cross-pollination between species that evolved light years apart, she observed, her voice filled with wonder. The complexity of matching compatible DNA structures must be extraordinary. That's exactly the challenge, Alex said, moving to stand beside her. He caught the faint scent of something like moonflowers and ozone, but if we succeed, we could create food sources for colonies that are struggling with hostile environments. Noble work, Isabel said softly, turning to meet his gaze. My mother chose well. Arya had discovered his collection of carnivorous earth plants. Alex, this one just tried to eat my finger, she called out with delight rather than alarm. Can I keep it? That's a Venus flytrap, he laughed, walking over to gently extract her hand, and it already has a home, but I can show you how to feed it. The touch of her hand sent an unexpected warmth through him. Her skin was softer than he'd imagined, with a texture unlike human flesh, smoother, almost like warm silk. Show me everything, Arya insisted, her enthusiasm infectious. They spent the next hour touring the gardens. Arya asked 1,000 questions, touching everything Alex said was safe and even a few things that weren't. Isabel followed more quietly, but her observations were razor-sharp, catching details about plant behavior that even Alex had missed. Do you ever feel lonely out here? Isabel asked as they paused beside a small waterfall feature. 3 years is a long time without other people. Alex considered the question. Sometimes, he admitted, but the work keeps me occupied, and I find plants better company than most humans I've known. Most humans, Arya repeated, settling onto a bench carved from crystallized wood, but not all. Not all, he agreed, sitting across from them. The conversation flowed naturally. They talked about their worlds, their hopes, their fears. Arya described cities that floated on clouds of charged particles, aerial races through canyons of crystal, festivals where entire populations would gather to watch stellar phenomena. Isabel spoke of ancient libraries containing the collected knowledge of 100 civilizations, meditation gardens where time itself seemed to slow. Your mother must be remarkable, Alex said, to raise such different but equally amazing daughters. The sisters exchanged a glance. She taught us that strength comes in many forms, Isabel replied. Arya's courage balances my caution. And Isabel's wisdom keeps me from doing anything too reckless, Arya added with a grin. Usually. A sudden alarm interrupted the moment. Alex jumped up, checking his monitors. Solar storm, he announced, his training taking over. A big one. We need to reinforce the shields and secure the sensitive specimens. Tell us what to do, Arya said immediately, already on her feet. For the next 2 hours, they worked as a team. Alex called out instructions while Arya's quick reflexes and fearless nature had her climbing scaffolding to adjust overhead panels. Isabel's methodical approach and scientific knowledge made her perfect for monitoring the protection systems and calculating optimal shield configurations. The storm hit with spectacular fury. Radiation washed across the biodome in waves of crimson and gold. The shields held, but barely. At one point, a surge caused a section to flicker, and Arya leapt without hesitation to manually reroute power. Arya, wait, Alex shouted, but she was already there, her hands on the conduits. I've got it, she called back, her voice strained but determined. Isabel rushed to her sister's side, helping stabilize the connection while Alex reinforced it from his console. When the danger passed, they stood together in the fading light of the storm, breathing hard. You could have been hurt, Alex said to Arya, surprised by the intensity of his own concern. She smiled, her face flushed deeper violet. But I wasn't. We make a good team, don't you think? Isabel placed a gentle hand on Alex's shoulder. Thank you for trusting us to help. Standing there between them, feeling the warmth of Isabel's touch and meeting Arya's bold gaze, Alex realized something was shifting. These weren't just princesses he was protecting, they were becoming something more. Something that both thrilled and terrified him. Hidden emotions. The days following the solar storm brought an unexpected ease to their cohabitation. Alex found himself waking earlier, eager to share morning meditation with Isabel as the first sun rose. Her presence had become a peaceful constant, the way she moved through the gardens with quiet grace, stopping to examine each specimen with genuine fascination. Arya, meanwhile, had turned his structured routines into adventures. She'd convinced him to try samples from every edible plant in the collection, leading to some interesting discoveries and one memorable incident involving a fruit that temporarily turned their tongues blue. I think you're avoiding the real work, Alex teased one afternoon as Arya dangled upside down from a tree branch, claiming it helped her think differently. I think you're avoiding fun, she countered, her amber hair hanging like a curtain. When was the last time you did something just because it felt good? The question lingered in the air between them, loaded with implications neither was quite ready to address. That evening, Isabel suggested a cultural exchange. We should share our customs, she said as they gathered in the habitat's common area. It might help us understand each other better. On our world, Arya began, settling cross-legged on the floor cushions, we have a tradition called the Starlight Ceremony. When two, or sometimes more, people feel drawn to each other, they spend a night beneath the stars, sharing truths they've never told anyone else. It's about vulnerability, Isabel added softly, sitting beside her sister. We believe you can't truly know someone until you've seen them without their masks. Alex leaned forward, intrigued, and humans have something similar. We call them heart-to-heart conversations, though we're often too afraid to have them. Are you afraid now? Arya asked, her eyes meeting his with startling directness. The question hung in the air. Alex's pulse quickened, maybe a little, he admitted. Truth has a way of changing things. Sometimes things need to change, Isabel said, her voice barely above a whisper. They dimmed the habitat lights and opened the dome's transparency panels, revealing the spectacular night sky of Meridian 7. 3 moons hung like lanterns among countless stars, casting silver light across their small gathering. I'll start, Arya said, taking a deep breath. The truth is, I've never felt like I belonged in the palace. All those rules, those expectations, out here, helping with your research, laughing over strange plants, I feel more myself than I ever have. She looked at Alex, and I feel something when I'm near you, something my tutors never prepared me for. Alex's heart hammered against his ribs. Before he could respond, Isabel spoke. I've spent my life being the careful one, she said, her luminescent skin glowing softly in the moonlight, always thinking, always analyzing, but lately, I find myself feeling instead of thinking. When you adjust my meditation posture, Alex, when our hands touch while working, I feel something I can't calculate or explain. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension. I need to be honest with both of you, Alex said, his voice rough with emotion. These past weeks they've changed me. Arya, your joy is infectious, you make me remember how to live, not just exist, and Isabel, your mind fascinates me, but it's your gentle heart that's captured mine. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated with his own inadequacy. I know this is complicated, you're princesses, I'm just a botanist. You'll leave when your mother returns, and I'll go back to my plants, but right now, in this moment, I need you both to know that you what? Arya prompted, moving closer. That I care for you both, he finished, in ways that probably break a dozen protocols and at least 3 interstellar treaties. Arya laughed, the sound bright and unburdened. Mother always said the heart doesn't follow diplomatic procedures. On our world, Isabel said, shifting nearer, it's not uncommon for bonds to form between more than 2 people. The heart is vast enough for multiple connections, each unique and precious. Is that what you want? Alex asked, looking between them, his voice uncertain. Both of you. The question is, Arya said, reaching out to take his hand, what do you want? Isabel placed her hand over both of theirs. We would never pressure you, Alex, but we've felt this growing between the 3 of us, haven't you? He had, in Arya's laughter and Isabel's quiet wisdom, in shared meals and collaborative research, in the way they'd become a unit during the solar storm, trusting each other implicitly. Yes, he admitted, I've felt it. Then maybe, Arya suggested, her voice softening, we stop fighting it and see where it leads. Isabel leaned in, her breath warm against his cheek. No more hiding. In the silver moonlight, surrounded by the gardens he'd built and the 2 remarkable women who'd transformed his world, Alex made a choice. He closed the distance to Isabel first, their lips meeting in a kiss that was gentle, exploratory, filled with all the careful thought that defined her. When they parted, Arya was there, her kiss a contrast, bold, passionate, full of fire and life. This is insane, Alex murmured when they finally drew apart. The best things usually are, Arya replied, settling against his shoulder. Isabel took his other side, her head resting near his heart. we'll figure it out together, she promised. Under the watching stars, 3 hearts beat in synchronization, beginning a story that defied convention but felt more right than anything Alex had ever known. Outside the biodome, neither Alex nor the princesses noticed the small surveillance drone retreating into the darkness, its mission complete, transmitting coordinates back to its master. Threats from the stars. The warning came 3 days into their newfound happiness. Alex was in the garden with Isabel, their fingers intertwined as she explained the bioluminescent patterns of her homeworld's flora, when the perimeter alarms screamed to life. Incoming vessel, the automated system announced, military configuration, weapons armed. Arya rushed from the lab, her face pale beneath her violet skin. That's a coalition hunter ship, she said, her voice tight with fear. Someone found us. The comm system crackled. Princesses Arya and Isabel, a cold voice filled the habitat. This is Commander Rena of the Sovereign Fleet. Your presence is required for questioning regarding your mother's treaty negotiations. Surrender peacefully. Rena, Isabel breathed, gripping Alex's hand tighter. She's from the opposition faction. If she takes us, we'll be used as leverage against Mother. Alex's mind raced. The biodome has defensive shields, but they won't hold against military-grade weapons for long. Then we don't give her a stationary target, Arya said, her fear transforming into determination. Alex, those spore-producing plants you've been cultivating, the ones that create dense atmospheric clouds, how quickly can you accelerate their growth cycle? Understanding dawned. With the right nutrient injection, maybe 30 minutes, but... Do it, Isabel interrupted, her tactical mind already working. We'll use the topography, create a defensive perimeter using the natural canyon formations around the station, if we can obscure their sensors. They'll have to come in on foot, Arya finished, which gives us the advantage. We know this terrain. They worked with desperate efficiency, Alex flooding entire sections of the garden with growth accelerants while the sisters prepared defensive positions. The plants responded beautifully, releasing clouds of dense, sensor-blocking spores that rolled across the landscape like fog. Commander Rena's ship circled overhead, unable to get a clear targeting lock. Clever, her voice came through the comm, but futile. I'm deploying ground troops. 6 armored soldiers descended on grav sleds, their weapons ready. They disappeared into the spore clouds, and the waiting began. Stay close, Alex whispered to both sisters, positioned behind a barricade of crystallized plant matter. The first soldier emerged from the mist, his helmet scanning for targets. Arya moved like liquid shadow, using a stunning device they'd rigged from lab equipment. He dropped without a sound. 2 more, left flank, Isabel whispered, tracking them on her handheld scanner. They worked as a perfect unit, Alex using his knowledge of the terrain to lead soldiers into traps, Arya's quick reflexes disarming threats, Isabel's strategic mind anticipating every move. But Commander Rena herself finally appeared, flanked by 2 elite guards. Impressive, she said, weapon trained on Alex, a human protecting alien royalty. How noble, how pointless. She smiled coldly. Surrender the princesses, or I'll start with you. No, Arya and Isabel said simultaneously, stepping forward. You'll have to go through us first, Arya added, her voice steel. Rena's finger moved toward the trigger. A blinding light erupted overhead. A massive ship, far larger than Rena's vessel, materialized from hyperspace. Its hull bore the royal crest of the Andromeda Coalition. Commander Rena, a familiar regal voice boomed across all channels, stand down immediately. This is Empress Talia, and you are hereby under arrest for treason. Rena's face went white, her weapon lowered as Royal Guard ships surrounded her position. Within minutes, it was over. A new beginning. Empress Talia descended from her flagship with the grace of someone who'd ended wars with her presence alone. She embraced both her daughters, then turned to Alex with appraising eyes. Dr. Chen, she said, my daughters have sent me detailed reports of their time here. Alex's stomach dropped. Your Majesty, I can explain. She raised a hand, silencing him, then, unexpectedly, she smiled. You protected them, you saw them as individuals, not political tools, and unless I'm mistaken, you formed bonds that transcend mere guardianship. Arya and Isabel moved to stand beside Alex, their hands finding his. Mother, Isabel began, we know this is unconventional. Unconventional, Talia interrupted, is exactly what our coalition needs. The treaty I just negotiated succeeds because I convinced 12 species to move beyond their traditional thinking. She looked at the three of them. Love that crosses boundaries is exactly the symbol our new era requires. You're not angry? Arya asked, surprised. I'm pragmatic, Talia replied, and I recognize genuine connection when I see it. Dr. Chen, how would you feel about continuing your research aboard our science vessels? My daughters would make excellent research partners. Alex looked at Arya's hopeful face, at Isabel's gentle smile. I'd be honored, he said. The farewell to Meridian 7 came quickly. As they boarded the royal ship, Alex took one last look at his gardens. We'll build new ones, Isabel promised, together. Better ones, Arya added, slipping her arm through his. As the ship lifted into the stars, Alex realized he wasn't leaving home, he was finding it, in Arya's laughter and Isabel's wisdom, in shared dreams and unified purpose, in love that defied convention and created something entirely new. The galaxy stretched before them, infinite and welcoming, and they would explore it together. 3 hearts, 1 journey, endless possibilities. Ready for your next adventure? Arya asked, squeezing his hand. Alex looked at both his partners, these remarkable women who transformed his carefully ordered world into something wild and beautiful. With you too, he said, pulling them close, always. And as the stars blurred past the viewport, their future unfolded, a story written not in protocols or treaties, but in the universal language of love. The end.